Good morning, guys. Monday, April 9th. Get right into the focus list for today. Little change of pace from the last few days. Looks like we got some green heading into the open today, which, after kind of this nasty selling last week, is a bit expected. So, SPY set to open up just a tad under 1%. We got our friend here, the Qs, up, I believe, over 1%. Let me see. Okay, so Q's up a good amount, over 1% here. It's 6:30 in the morning right now. Market opens in 3 hours, so whether or not that holds, we'll see. Take a look at everyone's favorite big name stocks, which of course, with the Q's being up 1%, are going to be looking pretty decent as well. So got Apple here up about 1.5% heading into the pre-market. Apple is now starting to form a daily squeeze, guys, right here. So something to definitely keep in mind. And it also looks like it possibly could be a 195-minute squeeze. Let's take a look. Okay, so just basically Apple starting to consolidate a bit, guys. Definitely something to keep an eye on here this week, as well as, the other major tech names. Now, coming here today, guys, one thing I want to talk about this morning is, I understand the desire and temptation to focus on these big names, on the FANG stocks at all times, but look at the mess we've had lately, and here's just something I want to point out to you guys. So, market's been getting its ass kicked in this just super volatile price action, guys, where a lot of stocks are kind of mirroring the overall market. However, there are certain situations out there, there are certain stocks out there that have held up beautifully despite all of this volatile price action. And they're kind of names that, no one would really think otherwise. So, Urban Outfitters here, guys, been in a squeeze for going on a few weeks now. And I started building a position last week because of that increased volume. And what you'll typically see is during times of market volatility and choppiness, if you can have a stock that just continues to hold its ground, stay going sideways, nice and tight, low volume, and then you see volume begin to come in, that's a good indication that if the market does move higher, there's a pretty good chance that big money has been holding the stock, they've been wanting to begin accumulating it, and now they have the freedom to kind of run with that. Another example is Ollie's Bargain Outlet. And again, guys, these are kind of smaller, not as popular names, but there are opportunities in each, and you can look at it from a sector perspective as well. A lot of you guys made some really good money last week in XLE, which I am pumped about. That kind of shit just gets me fired up. The great thing, guys, is that the energy move hasn't even began. So, Ty, I know you made some good money on energy. I believe Liam did. A handful of you guys made money on energy. I really forget who, but still in the squeeze here. The squeeze hasn't even broken yet. So, again, while the entire market has basically been getting chopped back and forth, you got the energy sector here. And let me clean up this chart. You got the energy sector here, guys. S&P 500 is doing a dance every day, and here's energy going super tight. So the fact that, you guys were actually able to make some good money off this short little move here was awesome, but the big move hasn't even come yet, guys. So entire market in a mess, yet energy sector is being held tight. Now, what does that mean? It means that the guys who have most of the money in XLE, they're all set selling here. They're not immediately rushing back in to accumulate more, but, here's definitely for the time being, guys, the line in the sand. So this has kind of withstood, the overall nastiness of the market, and that should, that's something that should really pique your interest, because again, when money begins to flow back into the market, it kind of lifts the cap off of this and lets that go and do the move that it's been anticipating. So things you can watch, you can either trade XLE on the move out, or some of the bigger names in that sector, such as a Chevron, for example, which is the ticker CVX. Again, whole market getting bounced around and nice and tight here. Nice squeeze. Take a look at something like an Exxon. And you're going to see the same thing, guys. Nice consolidation here while the rest of the market is getting, chopped around on super low volume. So what I want you to imagine now is that, this is like a rubber band. It's getting pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled. That energy has to be released at some point. volume will enter this at some point, and it's either going to snap to the upside or the downside. If the entire market begins to move higher, as does the energy sector, then it's only natural by default names like an Exxon or a Chevron are going to move higher. So one thing you guys can focus on in choppy environments like this is, don't focus on the Facebooks, the Googles. Those are the stocks that are going to be the most volatile, guys. Focus on trying to find something, like an energy, like an Urban Outfitters, kind of an under the radar name, but again, when you learn supply and demand, it all makes sense, guys. They're not selling this. They're selling every other stock in the market, but for whatever reason, the big money that owns Urban, look at the volume here. They've had no interest in selling it, despite the market kind of falling on its face. So those are very important things to keep in mind of, guys. Supply and demand, just simple shit, but that simple shit can be very profitable in certain situations. So that's my scoop this morning, guys. I look forward to talking to you all in the group chat. And looks like, tech is flat. Got some money coming into financials. Energy's flat. So could be an interesting day. I have, in terms of current open positions, I got Urban, which I am up nicely in. I am, I believe, either break even or down a little bit in Ollie. And I have a nice open profit on some QQQ calls that I bought Friday at the low of the day. Alright, guys, that's it. I'll see you in the chat. Let's work hard this week. And please, whether it's a $5 profit, a $10, 10,000, I love to hear about you guys winning trades. That shit means the world to me. So keep them coming.